is up, everybody, and welcome to Shared Screens Elite Four, the only show here on Shared Screens that is exclusive to Pokemon. And while we do have a podcast within a podcast called The Road to Victory, this is actually our first episode where we will not be doing a Road to Victory and talking about anyone's dream Pokemon game. Rather, we're here to talk about what we want from the Pokemon Company in 2024. Joining me today from Shared Screens and Shared Screens Elite Four is Austin Ernst and Alec Bobko.
Hello.
Hi.
Guys, the end of the year is upon us.
Mhm.
We are all going to make it to the next year, but I'm going to say die for dramatic effect.
Jesus.
But with that
Nice
comes
knowing you.
another year. I'm ready, man. I'm tired. Like, my back hurts. It's just like
dude, there's I think it was Janet Garcia. She tweeted something about like the meme of Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street, like literally like crawling to his car when he's on all those drugs.
Yeah.
It's like me just waiting to get to holiday break. It's like, I feel that.
Basically.
I feel that.
Sure.
Yeah. But with another new year coming upon us, actually by the time this uploads will be the new year, so happy new year to all of you. Hopefully there hasn't been like some huge tragedy in the past 2 weeks. Wow, that'll be weird.
It's never a guarantee nowadays, so here we are.
No. So with that, of course, comes another year of Pokemon, and I figured what would be fun would be to talk about what we actually want from the Pokemon Company in 2024, because we don't actually really know. We don't really tend to know. Most Pokemon things tend to go on a kind of like they'll give us that big update on Pokemon Day, and we'll know for the rest of the year. Occasionally, we know things in advance.
Is there anything we do know at all?
Like,
besides,
in terms
like,
of
the
anything
show.
that's like 100% confirmed. Yeah, the only thing that's like 100% confirmed is that Horizons is coming to February.
Yeah.
It's coming to Netflix February 23rd.
Isn't it already in Japan? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, that's been airing in Japan for a while.
The dub.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're talking specifically the dub.
Sure.
Which, I mean, actually, that brings me to, I think, one of my first wants of the Pokemon Company in 2024, which for me is find a way to mainline this. Like, you guys are the most profitable media franchise on Earth. You are probably, I would assume, just based off like when you think about like general audiences and how like even grandmas know who Pikachu is, I would assume like one of the most watched animes in the world. Can you just consider again the fact that it's like I think a little bit more mainstream than what people tend to think of when we use anime? Does that make sense?
Yes and no. Like, is Pokemon on Crunchyroll? You know what I mean? Like, people who watch anime, like they go to Crunchyroll.
That's also
for
fair.
That.
I would
so like
Alec, you're totally not wrong, and I half agree with you, but I also feel like Pokemon is just such a different entity that even if it was straight up anime, I still feel like Pokemon Company would still gatekeep it and still kind of keep it to their own thing.
Like I'm
you know what I mean?
saying like the way like when I say like the way COD is always the most like bought game, even though it comes out the last like leg of the year. I feel like Pokemon's like that. Where like I feel like if you actually crunch the numbers, it probably is up there in terms of what.
You're Alec, you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, no,
I think it's a slightly different beast. Is what I'm getting.
Somebody likes me one of those little weebs. You know what I mean? I completely forgot about Crunchyroll and Funimation, so like that's fair. But
Funimation isn't a thing anymore. It's all just they.
Oh my god, they fucking killed him? They took him out back like Old Yeller?
Funimation, I believe.
Bought Funimation, and they basically like, hey, you have a Funimation account. You just migrate over to Crunchyroll.
That's exactly what I did. And then there was like a deal where like if you can upgrade and get this like 3-year package thing, and I did that. So here we are.
Yeah. No, but that's definitely I think one of my first big wants is that for the gap between when the anime airs in Japan and when it airs on Netflix to be much smaller. I do think that there are some things that it's outside of just the traditional. There has been some weird issues with dubbing, and I know they for some reason redo the background music, which upsets a lot of people because they use worse music than the subs. But I think part of it is also like because of whatever deal Netflix struck, it has to like air on cable in Canada before it could come to Netflix. So Netflix will wait for like big ass batches to air in Canada so they can go and put it up on in batches.
It's probably just because of like things that already existed, like deals that already existed.
Yeah, probably. I mean, so this is only tangentially related, but Pokemon Forever and Pokemon Heroes are finally back on like Google Play Store and iTunes and YouTube and stuff like that after being they were distributed by Miramax, and a lot of Miramax's movies have been in weird limbo since Harvey Weinstein went to jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
That guy.
We're going back to the whole anime thing. Like that's one reason Crunchyroll is, so popular with people that watch anime is that they have what's called a simuldub, which essentially means a week or two after the episode premieres, the dub will be coming out.
I
So
don't get
Sure.
why Pokemon doesn't do that, especially when you think about that,
Because
like
it's Pokemon. That's why.
but
That's
the
it.
thing is, the gate when was the last time the games had, like, a almost year earlier release in Japan? Because they started just translating the games during development and doing, like, global launch days.
yeah, since like what X and Y they started doing that,
I would say at the least, right?
because that's when the first when you boot up the game, that's when you had to choose your language.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Because then I believe Black and White was still region locked to
Mm.
the DS.
Very possible. Let
Yeah.
me
Whereas
check
So the thing you
Bulbapedia.
want, Jordan, is just like not to have as big as a gap going forward. Is that
Yeah,
what?
so, I mean, as of right now, it's like a 9-month gap, and as
Oh,
somebody
okay.
who hasn't, like, religiously followed the anime, let alone when I was a kid and I was following it, it's not like I knew, "Oh my god, well, it airs in Japan about 8 months in advance," you know what I mean? I
All I
wasn't on
know is Indigo League.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
So,
So
I think I was reading something online recently that said
random
that
snippets.
basically the gap between its airing in Japan and its airing in the US has not been this bad since basically the Indigo League, like the
Oh
early
jeez.
days,
Mm.
or at the very least since like the 4 Kids days in general. And
Yep.
I'm starting to think maybe
Four
Netflix
kids.
wasn't the best distributor just because they like to do their big binges. Like maybe Disney Plus is a better distributor. Like it's Disney, people think of family entertainment anyway, and like they have a somewhat working relationship with Pokemon, I believe, in Disney World Japan. And I think that if they could line up their releases with like when it airs in Canada, that would be like the best, one
Sure.
of the best case scenarios.
So you want that to
Mhm.
be like a stealth announcement that it's coming?
I don't really know, man. Just like
Okay.
I just hope that like I'm not seeing things a
You just
year
want
in
that to
advance.
improve, like point blank
Overall, would like
blanket
it to
statement.
improve.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Other things I would like to
Look,
see. Oh,
I can kind of piggyback off
yeah, yeah.
this topic a little bit. Because we talked about this briefly in like a icebreaker maybe in another episode, where we talked about like if we're even actually gonna watch the show, and
Mhm.
I definitively was like probably not, but the my one like little like because I said going into the show I said I had like three things. I kind of came up with the fourth one. It's just like a little one. It's just like I just want this not to suck, and I know that the reviews. I think the like score on Metacritic or whatever was like a 7 something, and I'm like,
Or an
okay,
IMDb.
IMDb, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. Like, I want the next version of what Pokemon is without Ash to just not be trash. That's it. That's all I want.
So, yeah, like from what I'm hearing from other people, there are people who are legitimately enjoying this new one. And from the little quick previews I've seen, and then that half of the first episode that they put up on YouTube a couple months ago,
Sure.
it feels so unique, like in its own way, where it's like we are following this somebody brand new, which is for the first time, and there's
Mhm.
this other new group of people who are a little bit older, and like they're kind of just more adventurers, and we're seeing stuff we've never really seen in Pokemon before. Like, I think that it's a really cool refresher. And I'll give better opinions once I actually see more of it. But from what I'm hearing of people who have kept up with the subs, that like it's good.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that's just like what like a small one I had where we brought up the anime anyway. So, but yeah, with someone who's
Yeah,
like I said, mostly all I know is Indigo League anyway. But like Ash Ketchum as a character is actually genuinely really important to me. So
same.
it's just like
Mhm.
following that up. Like I just don't be bad. That's it. Just don't make me cringe more than a normal amount. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess to kind of piggyback off of your piggyback and still talking about like the anime and the animation, couple ideas I had floating around. One was to essentially do a remaster of Pokemon movies 1 through 3, kind of do just like a nice little HD, like make them clean, make them pretty.
I think the thing about that is like they don't even have to do that, but people would 110% buy
Well,
that
because
shit.
the only reason I say that is because they've already done a collection where they essentially
Sure.
just re-released
Uh huh.
them
yeah.
back
Because
in
I was gonna say
2018.
there is a Blu-ray that has the first three on it. So I would
But
assume
just
since yeah,
I don't
not just
think
because it's a
they
Blu-ray,
remastered it. That's
up-resed. Yeah.
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 So that's my thought is just a nice little upres.
Yes,
And
please.
then
I'd probably buy it digitally.
um
I'm the problem, I know, but that's what I would do.
I mean I still would too because I don't
Yeah,
have a all
fair enough.
digital consoles and all that. But
Sure.
the other animation thing I had was you know how because I think it did fairly well was the I Am Groot shorts
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
and like that. So like kind of similar to that, do when they're you could almost even piggyback it off of the 1 through 3 remaster movies where they have the little shorts at the beginning of the movies.
Mhm.
Kind of do a little like Pokemon shorts, like kind of release like a mini series like
I
that.
would love that,
I
honestly.
I would love that as well. There is a playlist on their YouTube called Poke-Tunes, which I have not seen all of, but they are like styled like more older school animation,
Sure.
and like
Mhm.
a lot of their logos are like homages to like a Tom and Jerry or a Looney Tunes type of thing.
Mhm.
The one I've seen for Poke-Tunes that is absolutely adorable is just like this little 5 minute like short animation of like this girl going to her grandparents' house, and her grandparents live in like this like snowy cabin, so they keep a slugma inside their furnace that just crawls around the house and
Oh,
provides heat, and she's chasing the house, like she's running around the house
Yeah.
trying to see if she can line up with where slugma is, and she just keeps missing him. Yeah.
I'm usually not
It's so fucking adorable.
I'm usually not the shorts person, but there's something about the nostalgia of like if it's in that style that there was back in the day, where
yep.
like the precursor to the movies, then I would totally tune in for that. If it's a package, just like here's 6, and we just get like a package of that like
Yeah,
every couple
exactly.
years, like I'm totally down
Yep.
with that.
Yeah, these ones are not 100% like the movies, like ones, because they do involve humans, not just Pokemon. There is
Mhm.
dialogue. They're not characters we're familiar with, but like I literally rewatched this one the other night because it was like weird and comforting and cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check those out. But
Some
yeah, it's oh good.
yeah. I was gonna say something I would love to get finally in 2024 that's still based off shows or
Mhm.
animation is, well, I guess technically not animation, is we are, I mean, we've gotten the live action One Piece, which was actually, regarded really well. We've gotten the looks at the live action Last Airbender, and we finally gotten a trailer for that. That one, people also are receiving really well.
Mhm.
While I get they need to take their time and that they have a whole other mountain to tackle the when adapting Pokemon than like the live action things like Last Airbender and One Piece do. I would love to just get some more word on the live action Netflix project that we had announced in 2021.
What did we see about that?
We Nothing. We only
Okay.
knew. I still remember it because it lined up with like a family vacation of
I
mine. So
could
I
have swore
remember.
we got like a small clip of like a Charizard or something. Is that something else? My brain says there was something.
So when I Googled it recently to see if there was any news, it looked like some websites had gotten a little bit confused where they're in
Mm,
2021, end of July 2021, Netflix announced a live action Pokemon series that kind of the implication is like it's going to be like an actual battle, like heavy, kind of what the anime was. I'm not necessarily going to say it's Ash, but that idea. You were following a trainer around.
sure.
Um, but then earlier this year, they put out this thing that aired in Japan. I don't know if or when it's coming to America, but it's like a real life miniseries about somebody who's like roughly our age, and it's like she's
Mm,
going through her first real job and is very stressed, and her mom mails her back a box of her old things, and one of the things in that box is her original copy of Pokemon Red in her Game Boy, and you're finding like her rediscover her love for Pokemon as she like navigates the world, and
sure.
which I do believe is
Mhm.
is really cool. I haven't watched it. I
Totally.
believe it's Japanese exclusive in terms of like it's
That's
not
okay.
being dubbed over because it's fully live action or anything,
Mhm.
and I don't know if there's an official sub. But yeah, that is like its own separate thing that exists
Gotcha.
like in the real world.
Fair enough. And sorry, my wife had talked to me for a second. What was the crux of this? Of what the point you're bringing up? What you want to see, Jordan?
I
Was it
just want to
just
see more of the live action Netflix. I
specifically Netflix though, right?
Yeah, so Netflix is
Yeah.
the one who made the announcement. Like it's their
Okay.
show. I think it's kind of in their whatever initiative they have that is making the live action Last Airbender, that
Sure.
made the live action One Piece.
I just didn't know if you were also lumping in. Not saying this is Netflix, but just also lumping in other live action projects. Like,
No, I'm
okay,
specifically talking about the Netflix one. Like if I could just see like even concept art, or maybe like a get a casting announcement and we see like how they're choosing to integrate the real life world of Pokemon with people, because like Detective Pikachu did it well, but Detective Pikachu had an advantage of having a movie's budget, and I guess
sure,
within it they can
Right.
kind of restrict which Pokemon
good
they're
point.
going to show.
Good
Whereas
point.
like if you're doing a series, not only is that a smaller budget, you can't get away with only showing like even 200 out of the now 1,000 plus Pokemon. You're going to have to show a variety along the way.
Sure. Because
Mhm.
one of my things that I wanted, Tim Geddes recently talked about something like he's what he wants, and it's a pie in the sky thing. I don't want this to come out next year, obviously, but
Yeah, no, I'm
I
not.
want no, I want an announcement of like a movie that is in the style of Detective Pikachu, but it's just a fucking Pokemon trainer
Okay.
going through the gyms.
Oh, that'd be
I think the
awesome.
That's
series
what I
is
want.
what we're going to get instead.
See, and that's fine, but I want the team. What was the team who worked on the Detective Pikachu movie? Do we know? Like,
That I'm
because
not sure.
I don't
What's
know.
funny is this episode
I
was
would
almost a Detective Pikachu retrospective.
I really genuinely want that team to continue because I think they did something I would say never possible, where they made Pokemon live action actually look fucking awesome. And I mean, I just mean
Oh yeah.
visually. Like
Yeah.
if you ask me, will this translate well? I'd be like, no, of course not. But and again, it wasn't perfect, but I think it was really, really, really well done in terms of like that could have been so wrong so
Yep.
easily. Okay, but
Oh
they made
yeah.
it look incredible.
Yeah.
So I just want
So
that team to continue that.
it's
But I want it to be like a traditional story.
I'm looking at it now. It was a Warner Brothers movie, which oof, that means that David Zaslav's probably going to kill this movie for a
Yeah.
tax write-off. But the director was Rob Letterman, who I did not realize when I originally saw this is the guy who just made the new Goosebumps show on Disney Plus. And I've only seen the pilot of that. I saw it while at Comic-Con, but like, dude is good. He also did the 2015 Goosebumps movie with Jack Black and like
I
Monsters
saw
versus
that.
Aliens and
It
Shark
was
Tale.
okay.
Oscar
It was
nominated
okay.
Shark Tale, I believe.
Shark Tale. Oh, I like Shark Tale. That's one of my childhood movies where my cousin and I watched it all the time, and then we used to quote the what's the line? I'm a wiener, and he's like wiggling the corn dog, whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Martin Scorsese's in that movie. But yeah, so I guess for me, like from the TV side, is I want the anime to get here faster, and I just want to see
Mhm.
like something from the live action show.
I just
Okay.
want an announcement that hey, we know this is what you want. We're
Right.
trying.
Yeah.
Like this is a thing that's in the pipeline, maybe.
Yep.
Yep.
I guess moving on. I got a few game stuff.
Okay.
Because we recently had our most anticipated games of 2024 podcast. And I had a half thought of putting in the Generation 5 remakes in that, but then I'm like, I guess it's a little too soon. So, because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl came out, what, 2022,
No, they came out in
2021?
21, end of 21, and then Arceus was beginning of 22.
Right. So my thought, I went and kind of looked at some of the other games. It's been 5 years since Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out. It's
Yes.
time for a Let's Go Johto.
That was one of mine, baby. That was one of mine. Let's fucking go. But I have a disclaimer to that, but I'll let you take the stage here.
I mean, that's really all I had for that. But my thought was just because the Pokemon were really prevalent back in the day, it would be Let's Go Snubble and Let's Go Meryl.
I don't know about Snubble. I'm okay with Mara, but I understand what you're pulling from. You're not wrong. But yeah, I was gonna.
Well,
My follow
probably
up was gonna
Pichu
be
just because, but
yeah, that's probably a better call.
Yeah.
Pichu
So
and
Do
Meryl.
do Pichu and like Azumarill, where it's like the little baby form or whatever.
Well,
okay. So
Azumarill is Gen 4, but yeah.
Fuck it.
So probably
3.
Meryl.
Fuck it.
But yeah.
But okay, let's talk about I guess that more
Yeah.
because the biggest rumors are it's either going to be a Let's Go Johto game or it's going to be a Unova remake, and I feel like we are really getting hints that like we're going back to both those two regions next, just because like we've gotten a lot more Jotonian or like Johto regional forms.
Jotonian. Sorry.
I guess that's the correct nomenclature.
I guess
but we
I
got,
would, yeah.
It's not that we got Jotonian forms; it's that we got regional forms of Johto
Sure.
Pokemon, and same with Unova. And Unova is the
It's
next
just a
one.
cool sounding word. Sorry.
Jotonian.
Jotonian.
Or Cantonian for like
Yeah.
the Pokemon. Yeah.
Cantonian.
Anyway.
You got to have a distinction. It can't just be, Typhlosion and Hisuian Typhlosion.
Why not?
Jotonian and Hisuian.
Hoennian.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Hoennian.
Oh, nope.
No,
I was
We've
Hawaiian
made this
in
joke.
college, you know
We've
what I
made
mean?
this joke. All right, we've made this fucking joke.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I mean, what is content creation if not just rehashing the same jokes over and over?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hoenies. I guess. But anyway, so like honestly, I would like to hear about your Let's Go, I guess, want for 2024.
See, my
'Cause
disclaimer
I'll
to
refrain
that
for now.
is yes, I want a Let's Go game, but I also want an whatever the next Legends game is, and I absolutely know we cannot get both. Like
In Johto,
I know
yeah.
I know for a fact we're not getting both of those. So I am torn because if you remember, Legends Arceus was my game of the year. Okay? It was my Goldie the year it came out. So but I also really love gold. I love the gold version of Pokemon, so I'm like, I'm so torn.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to pick one of them, Honestly, I think it's the other Legends game. For me personally.
Honestly,
And I know that's unpopular.
that's
I understand.
this is because I'm honestly because I would love to see the story of like the dogs and like the burning tower and all that. Like,
Yes. And what's funny with you saying that is, again, I think the biggest sign that points to the next two remakes we're getting being a Johto and a Unova is the getting the paradox forms of their legendary trios.
yep,
Sure.
And while people are like, I don't get how Walking Wake can exist if Ho-Oh created the Pokemon when he revived them.
alternate timeline.
No. I saw a thing that said if you take like
No.
basically,
Sorry.
like if you take like a Walking Wake and Vaporeon and kind of combine them, then you get Suicune, and that's what it is when Ho-Oh
Okay.
revived the Jolteon, the Flareon, and the Vaporeon. He used he kind of used the older paradox forms as inspiration of how to revive these, and that's how we got the ones we knew. Either way, I just want to see that fan theory kind of confirmed. And
Yeah. Sometimes you read a fan theory. This isn't like exclusive to Pokemon, but sometimes you read a fan theory and you're like, oh fuck.
that's
You're
the
on to
one
something,
with
my guy.
Pokemon where I'm like, I
Yep.
believe. I was like, I will believe you till the day I die.
Yep.
Other ones
Yep.
where it's like, oh, he's in a coma, or Cliff. Oh,
that's a fun one though. I like
that's
that one.
yeah.
All right.
Actually, the
I
other
like
one I
that
believe is that Ditto was a failed Mew clone.
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
it.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see if we get another Let's Go game ever, though, because I feel like Legends is very clearly another thing we're going to get down the road.
Yep.
Whatever.
I'm just
what's it,
distinctly
region it
speaking
would
of
be.
2024. Like I know we're
no,
not
I
getting.
know.
I think it's
What-
too quick for a Legends game in 2024.
This is Pokemon though. They're probably gonna have 2 games again. So it's like
see that
me
that goes,
personally, if Legends comes out again next year, I hope it's the end of the year. Like I hope it's not exactly
the one
a
that gets
year.
more time.
Yes. So
I
like
mean,
whatever is
right.
at the beginning of the year is something they've been working on in the back end
I
for
guess
a little while.
This will be a perfect segue into what I want out of the games in 2024. None. I want Game Freak to take a fucking break.
Honestly, I'm with you. I'm with you, but I know that won't happen.
Take such a break, man. Like, give a spin-off game. They're like,
Give us the Town 2, or whatever the fuck that weird ass fucking thing that wasn't
no, because that's
Pokemon.
still them working. I need them to take a break.
Yeah, but I feel like the Town, if you know what it is, it didn't seem that demanding. Sorry,
Okay,
Alec, go ahead.
Are you gonna get into spin-offs?
Yes.
Okay, before you get into spin-offs, I do want to say one thing about a hypothetical Let's Go Johto.
Yep.
Okay. I think a really interesting way to do Let's Go Johto is where if you think about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee as remakes of Pokemon Yellow more than remakes of Pokemon Red and Blue, and the reason why they emphasize the partner Pikachu and the partner Eevee is an homage to that Pikachu that couldn't evolve and all that. What separates Crystal from Gold and Silver? Austin, you should know this. Come on.
A year.
No, the odd egg.
Oh.
So in my head, I think in Let's Go Johto,
I wasn't wrong for the
you
record.
You weren't. Factually, you're not. I think in my head, Let's Go Johto should have the traditional 3 starters of Typhlosion, Cyndaquil, and Chikorita.
Totodile.
Yeah, for
Totodile.
So I was like, I said Typhlosion, then I paused. I was like, I said a T word, but it seems wrong.
Well, initially when you said it, I was like, "Oh, he's just gonna name the final stages." Of
Yeah,
them
that's what I thought too. And
then you said Cyndaquil. I was like, "What the fuck?"
No. Totodile, Cyndaquil, and Chikorita.
It also seems weird because they just had Cyndaquil as a starter in Legends Arceus, but I guess that wasn't the last game.
Change the Johto
that wasn't.
and boom.
I'm not saying they changed it. I just think the timing. It feels. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Well, my thing is, if you make those the regular starter, but the big thing is when you get to Mr. Pokemon who gives you the odd egg, they can go outside of the regular egg like designs they use in the games and go with the ones that look like the Pokemon. And so you should be able to tell which baby Pokemon is which egg. And that should be who becomes the partner Pokemon that can evolve and has boosted stats. Because I think it
and the one that's like on your shoulder the whole time or whatever.
Exactly. And so that's why I think rather than making how many fucking baby Pokemons did we get that generation? Instead of making like 5 games come out at once, it could just be a Let's Go Johto, and then you choose again. The partner Pokemon isn't the starter. The partner Pokemon is the baby you get out of the egg. Because I think that would then again emphasize that it's Crystal more than Gold and Silver.
Sure.
Is this a really roundabout? What?
I do like that idea. I think that's smart.
I was gonna say, is this a really roundabout way for me to be like, yo, give me an Elekid with boosted stats? Only like 10%. Because I do think that at the end of the day, that egg is what separates Crystal and Gold and Silver's kind of special dynamic, or what makes that third game like the biggest thing that makes it stand out at first.
Or, a year worth of time.
It's the only difference. It
Sorry.
came out a year later, man.
I guess
But
in
yeah, now
terms
we're
of
going
my
into spin-offs, right?
spin-off game, because I looked it up, and unfortunately, this episode, or not unfortunately, but this 2023 was the 10-year anniversary of Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh, okay.
2025 is going to be the 10-year anniversary of XD Gale of Darkness. So my thought,
Ugh.
split it in the middle, do a nice little collection remaster pack. And
I
that's
would
how you
love.
give Game Freak their time off. It's just because it's just a remaster. I'm not talking about a full-on remake. I'm just saying
Yeah.
just nice little
And
graphic
they usually ship
little
it off to another
update.
team anyway.
Exactly.
But that will never happen.
No,
I
not
would
at all.
love that. If Alec, if that happens, I am like tagging you immediately. Like if that announcement, like that is awesome. But
I
I can't even fathom that happening.
Yeah, I think Game Freak.
But
'Cause
yes,
I haven't played those games. I've heard that they're weirdly difficult because you only kind of get like mid-ass Pokemon for like a really difficult game because it's all doubles.
it's like the equivalent of me now as an adult wanting a more mature video game that I thought I wanted as a
But
teenager.
what I've heard from like adults that play a lot of challenge runs is that like these games are uniquely challenging because it's like not only are they all doubles in the shadow thing, but it is also like you're not getting a great selection of
Sure.
Pokemon.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only dabbled with these games, so I didn't have
Yeah,
a GameCube or anything. But like,
but
I remember just being so intrigued by this other
mhm.
Pokemon that like it's just
And
so fucking
there's
different.
unique animations, and you have an
Yep.
Umbreon and an Espeon instead of a traditional
Yep.
And the
starter, and your
snag
character's
machine.
The
edgy.
amount of
Yeah.
times I YouTube this shit as a kid just to see something, just to feel something.
I think
Really
Game
cool
Freak
character design.
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
and because of that, I think Game Freak wants to avoid acknowledging the games kind of the way like today there was a new story of like Bethesda doesn't want Obsidian to make another spin-off because
Ugh, don't even, dude.
it's not that
Don't even
yeah,
get me started.
it's the thing where it's like it's weird that everyone's favorite is the one that we didn't make. So I feel like for Game Freak to be like, why should we emphasize how good these games that we actually didn't make are?
I genuinely
Right.
don't even think that's the reason. I think it's just because it doesn't matter. But Todd Howard is so up his own ass when it comes to
Oh,
that
you're
stuff.
going about that. I think you were about to say why they would never do.
I just and I trust Todd Howard and he makes great games, but he's just so protective of his IP at this point that
Yeah.
it's a meme at this point.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's the
sorry.
only thing I could see that like would hold that back. But I feel like because I want the main games to take a break, it give us spin-offs, man. Like I played
Conquest 2.
give us a Conquest 2. I played the first Pokemon Ranger for the
No,
first time this year and I enjoyed it enough that I would definitely take a look at a modern Pokemon Ranger remake. Give us another even though I never played the originals or the DX version, give us a newer mystery dungeon again. Like I just feel like there's
Mm-hmm.
so many spin-offs that have used to existed and that used to kind of pad out time between
sure,
versions that
that I
we're
agree
Yeah.
with. But
getting into this cycle.
I was never a like spin-off person. I was always like, woohoo, they look fun, but not for me. But in the terms of them giving them more time to work on like the other more demanding projects, I completely agree.
I feel like it's multifaceted. It's more time, and because it's more time, specifically more time, not in a new generation. Not that I think the next. I don't. Not that I think we're going to be getting a Gen 10 soon, considering like we're assuming we have 2 remakes to get through.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you time to like make like if let's say there's a Ranger game, make a lot of the Pokemon on the cover of that Paldea Pokemon. Like you can keep pushing Scarlet and Violet.
How
Oh
how
yeah.
would you I totally agree. How would you feel if something like Conquest or something like Ranger gets the HD 2D and not a mainline game?
Somebody who wants the series to stay in that 3D realm, just not be as bad at it, I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would be pissed personally because those games aren't for me. But there's something about Pokemon and there's something about HD 2D. We are like this is going to happen. It has to
Eventually.
happen.
Yeah.
See,
But it's one of those things where I just talked shit about Todd Howard and all this, but I'm kind of gatekeepy about it. Like I want that treatment to go to a mainline game or a remake of a mainline game.
I feel like I would almost prefer the Sea of Stars pixel art than more than HD
I'll
2D.
take that too. I'll take
Oh
that
yeah.
too because
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's of the ilk. It's
Yeah.
not the same thing. I agree, but it's of that ilk.
I think because when I hear HD 2D, I'm like, oh, some of these textures legit look like they're out of a PS5 game, but
Bro,
everything else is
I picture the Pokemon landscapes in HD 2D, and I'm like, fuck. Like
Right.
that's my background on my PC. That's something like I just I can't. I can't handle that. If we're doing this, but on like a grid form, because wasn't Conquest like a grid thing? I didn't
Yeah,
Yeah,
play
it's very
Conquest. I don't
Conquest is
know.
very
Fire Emblem.
Advance Wars.
So what
Fire
I'm saying
Emblem,
is, if
yeah.
we get HD 2D, but we don't get the like landscapes and the really cool character art like prominently in the game, I'm gonna be upset. That's what I'm getting at. So
Gotcha.
yes.
Anything else with spin-off games, Alec?
I don't know. Those were my two. Just the Coliseum and Gale of Darkness, and then Conquest 2 was one I had written down. Just because Conquest was one of those kind of really niche games. I can't remember what year it came out, but
It's like 2011
it's like,
or something.
turn-based RPGs or turn-based strategy games have been kind of coming back pretty prominently. Like, we had Advance Wars come out this year. You had Midnight Suns late last year.
I recently bought
So,
like the Ultimate Edition of Midnight Suns for like $10 or
mhm,
something somewhere. I
yeah,
don't remember what it was, but anyway.
but
This just randomly popped in my head. Give me
mhm,
like, because we saw Lego Fortnite kind of like take over for a while, and it's like a Minecraft like, I would say, right?
mhm.
Give us a Minecraft like that's Pokemon, like where you're just
Ooh,
fucking
I
out
could see
there
that.
building your house and shit, and then you can battle, but it's not like with trainers. It's like your Pokemon when catching other wild Pokemon to like put them and herd them
Do
and
you
like
want the
raise
surviving
them, and
mechanics where it's like, oh, yeah, at least
maybe.
you have a fire Pokemon to give yourself warmth, but then you got to find a water
Ooh,
Pokemon to navigate the
I
seas
like
and
that.
ooh. Yeah, then you just sold me on it. And again, that was I hadn't
So
thought this out yet, so you're helping me think this out and like get the idea. But I think that that's another thing where Pokemon would work so well for that. So anyway,
so Austin, you should check out. There's a actual
the
mod
mod.
for Minecraft called Pixelmon.
Yeah, I hate how Minecraft looks. I cannot
Mhm.
stand how Minecraft looks. That's the
But
problem.
yeah.
yeah,
There is a
there's a whole
survival
mod
I
game.
that's
know
Yeah,
I know that's been a thing, Alec, but
I've seen
you're totally right.
I've seen a Crystal ROM hack that's like a survival game where it's just on a giant like procedurally
oh
generated island.
yeah.
And it's like you can get chased by a bunch of Pokemon, but like I think it's like rock types can help you or steel types can help you cut wood to make a fence, so then you're like shelter. Like it's literally got
Yeah.
all these
Oh yeah.
mechanics.
Like give me Arceus, but like the crux of it is like more survival based, essentially.
Mhm.
Castaway, but with Pokemon.
I guess,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I like the idea of like you're building your house, you're raising, you got a few of these Pokemon, and you see an alpha in the distance. You're like, I'm not ready for this shit, but I'm gonna go and
Yeah.
investigate that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
A
Like, let's
Rapidash
go.
in the first area.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what would be
Dude,
cool
how
with that
scared I
too.
was of a Rapidash for no fucking reason is
Right?
crazy. I'm like, oh, he big. Oh, he
Okay,
big.
I will say the one thing I think that made me dislike Legends Arceus a little bit,
Fuck off.
but I'm gonna say dislike it. That made me not like it as much as I guess other people was that I felt like too many Pokemon were aggressive. It's like, bro, like there's no way a fucking Parasect is fucking whooping my ass.
Do you mean just too many in general, like sheer amount of them, not necessarily in one spot, but just like the percentage of them that were aggressive overall? That's what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of agree with that, but I thought you were saying like how many were aggressive in a certain area, and I was gonna be like, then get the fuck out of the area. But yeah,
No. I just mean
totally get it.
overall.
You're
It
right.
just felt like
You're right.
because it wasn't also individual. It's not like, oh, you can occasionally run into like, for example, like I know Starlies were ones that would like and Badoost were like ones that would
The one-
run away from you a lot. It's not like you would occasionally find one that was willing to attack. And oh, with Snorlax, who most of attack, there was actually one that was like a very
Sure.
lazy Snorlax and wasn't
You-
bothered by you. It was like you're either one of the species who runs or the species who attacks. I felt like too many species
Sure.
attacked.
I think this is the first iteration of that. I think the AI will get better going forward with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that criticism is totally valid for, especially like you're just talking about Arceus as it is.
Mhm.
That's totally valid. But you mentioned running, and I just immediately picture Sudowoodo and Toadstool or whatever, and how they have the
Yeah.
goofy running
Oh yeah.
running animations in Violet and Scarlet and Violet. And I don't know
Yep.
if any of those are
Toadstool
in.
looks hilarious.
If those Pokemon are in, not Toadstool, but if Sudowoodo's in Arceus, I don't remember him having a goofy running mechanic or running animation, but he might. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. But yeah, you said running away. I eventually go to that goofy ass running mechanic or animation. It's funny.
Yeah. Any other spin-off game stuff?
I'm just not the spin-off game guy, so like
Yeah.
I wouldn't want those. But again,
Mhm.
for the sake of giving Game Freak and the devs more time, all for it, baby.
I think one that I think would be really cool because they did a remake of one of the Mystery Dungeon games on Switch, I believe.
Yeah.
DX or something like
Um,
that, right?
They did, yeah, it might have been that, but if they did, because there was one that was really popular on the 3DS. I think it was Super Mystery Dungeon.
Yes.
Nintendo and their super
Super Mystery
slap that
Dungeon.
baby on there.
I
Sorry.
think that one was like well, no, because the dungeons change in all the Mystery Dungeon games,
Yeah.
right? So I forgot what was
I
different
think it was
about
just
that
the only
but
one that
like,
was on 3DS, I believe.
yeah,
All the
there was
others were
that.
on DS.
Yeah.
But
I know.
that was a fun one. I played that for a bit. I remember
Yeah.
getting really into a couple Let's Play series of them. They're really cool, really good. So
Do those review well? Do we even know? If
I
not,
know, like
I can look it
the
up.
ones on the original DS, like Explorers of Sky, Time, and Space, like those ones, people are like,
The
these are like,
the Sky one, that's the fan favorite, right?
yeah,
Am I wrong?
Explorers
Okay.
of Sky. People are like, this changed me.
I've like when I hear people talk about it, they mention that one. So,
Yeah, no,
gotcha.
mystery. I'm just searching to see if they
Mhm.
reviewed well. So
no,
please
you're good.
continue.
Yeah. I guess if nobody's got anything else, I've got something on the TCG. If you're ready to
I
move
Yeah,
on.
please.
yeah,
So I don't really have much. I just have one thing. Just because I don't really know too much about the TCG. I just, I like collecting them. That's about
Sure.
it. The newest, or I guess in terms of the newest set that's in the US, Paradox Rift.
Mhm.
That set has some of the best looking cards I've ever seen. So if they could just continue on with the art looking great, that'd be awesome. But
Sure.
in terms of like a kind of want, my thought was there's a fan favorite set a while back in X and Y called X and Y Evolution that essentially brought back like I believe it was like cards from like the original set, like kind of like just like remade them.
okay,
So my thought is I believe it was just the 151 as well. Like it had some like new Pokemon, but then there's a couple cards that were the like straight up essentially reprints of the old ones. So my thought is essentially do a Scarlet and Violet evolutions and then just do some, kind of, put some old reprints of some like Johto or
Sure.
some of the other like Johto or Hoenn cards in there.
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not a TCG guy, but like, yeah, like they announced that like I don't know exactly what it was. It was like a suitcase with like the starter sets from back in the day or something like
Yeah, that's
that.
like a $400 thing where it's like
But I was so intrigued. Is the thing I was like,
oh
hey,
for sure.
that looks really really fucking cool. It'd be cool
I'm
to just
saying
have
what
set up
that
somewhere.
is, it's legitimately like it's like a $400 thing. It comes with a mat and like pre-made decks for you to
Yep.
play with.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Still just really cool. That's all I'm getting at.
oh yeah, it's
yeah.
cool, but it's also very expensive.
Sure, 100%. This is Pokemon we're talking about, of course. But yeah, so TCG is just not my world. I opened that link, Jordan. I didn't know what that link that you put in there. I was like, oh, this is what that is. Okay, the Slugmite thing. Cool. Anyway.
Anybody have any others? Because I have one big one. I feel
Oh,
like my biggest want from the Pokemon Company in
We've
2024.
gone through all mine, so
I mean, if we had like this exact, I mean, this podcast didn't exist a year ago, but if we had this like exact thing a year ago, I probably would have said like, of course, like a Johto remake or something. But I also would have said, Pokemon, just do something fucking different. Like, just give me something drastically different, right? And I feel like I got that in Arceus, and I loved it. So like,
Mhm.
to that extent, like I'm kind of okay. I just at this point I want one of the two things I mentioned, like the next Legends game or the Johto, whatever the thing in Johto is, because there could be a myriad of
And
things. Um,
honestly, they don't even
I'm
need
not
to
getting
do a
both.
new engine for Let's Go Johto. Just give me the same engine because it looked great.
I did, dude. The Let's Go games I think are really good. Like I
Yeah.
really like the Let's Go game. I think that's like
I
almost
feel
a
like
perfect mashup of like what I want, like visually and mainline, how the game operates, and like
yeah,
nostalgia and all
Yep.
that.
I would say of the Switch games, Let's Go has the best art style.
I don't know about that, man. But it
Of the
definitely,
Switch Pokemon games.
I still don't know about that.
Really?
Yeah, I really like Arceus, guys. I really like Arceus. It's so unique
I
to me
guess, but
that
I don't know.
Year 2022.
It looked like a GameCube game at points.
yeah, graphical fidelity does not imply anything
Sorry,
but
I guess I
different
said art
style,
style.
I
Yeah,
guess. But
I feel like Let's Go is the best of both, or at the very least in terms of graphical fidelity. Let's Go is like I look at
And
it, and I'm like, I get
performance.
what you guys are doing. Like you're
sure,
cartoony, but like I don't look at
Yeah.
it. I don't look at a piece of foliage and want to throw up.
yeah, sure. The one the one update. I'm seeing a lot of mid for how the Mystery Dungeons review.
Gotcha.
The highest one I'm seeing is a 69.
Nice.
Oof.
Ooh,
I
nice.
think it's like the public finds them mid, but like the people who love them would die for
Sure,
them.
sure,
Oh yeah.
sure. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What?
not great.
But like just out of curiosity, what did the newest one get? What did Mystery Dungeon DX get?
Give me 1 second.
Because I played the demo of it and I find it
69.
fun. Nice. I mean that sucks, but like nice.
Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team, right?
No, it's just called DX. Or I guess yeah, Mystery Dungeon
Well,
Rescue
this
Team
is
DX.
Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. It
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out in 2020 for the Nintendo Switch.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 69
It's
was
that long ago
was the
already?
overall thing, but the like audience score was an 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of what I
Yeah, I as somebody who played the demo, I wonder if a lot of the, like, more critical scores being low is just lack of quality of life improvements from
Sure.
the DS. I
Mhm.
believe those first 2 were DS and GBA, like, one
Sure.
Yep.
version was on each, yeah.
So, I mean, if Alec and I don't have anything, Jordan, what's your big one? What's your big
Oh,
whopping
okay.
announcement
Hear
here?
me out, guys. Fucking put the original Pokemon games on NSO Online. Like, you have Game Boy,
Wow.
Yeah.
I
you
can't
have
believe
Game
I
Boy
didn't fucking say
Advance.
that.
Yeah,
Give me the
that's
first 3
this
generations.
yeah.
That's
And
greedy. Give me one of them. I don't fucking care which one. At this point, just
Yeah.
fucking and that one. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm desperate. I'm desperate.
when you say one, you don't even mean like a pair. You mean like, yeah,
Just a single one.
it's just Ruby. It's not
Just
Ruby and
yeah.
Sapphire.
Okay.
It's just
Yes.
Ruby.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
No,
I
no.
would prefer Sapphire, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take whatever I can get, man.
Give me them on NSO Online. Let them work with let the
Let them
first
cook.
2 ones work with the N64 versions of
Oh,
Pokemon Stadium
Stadium.
too, if that's possible.
Yes.
I don't fully understand how Nintendo's emulator works with that stuff, but
Really,
like
really smart. If that wasn't the case, I'm cool. But you're
Right.
totally right.
yeah,
You're
that
totally
is
right.
one where I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if the biggest restriction to that is like legitimately how the emulator is reading
Right.
that
Definitely
stuff.
something I can definitely say that there's one guy in the office who's looking into that. Like if this was happening, right, where they're
Yeah.
bringing at least some games out, they're like, all right, let me see if I can even let's see if this even
Exactly.
like computes.
And here's the
I'll
thing:
say
if
that's why they do the Gen 3 one, so I don't have to worry about that.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
I will be honest though, if they didn't do a like if they weren't compatible with Pokemon Stadiums 1
Mhm.
and 2, I actually feel like I would almost then want Nintendo to work with like ROM hackers or even do it in house and like
That will never happen.
and I'm not doing anything crazy, but like give us like modern stat spreads, move sets, and typings in the older games because I do feel like part of Pokemon's, in my opinion, as like the way I've seen them sometimes do this, that like sometimes some of their like hesitancy to bring out the old stuff is that some of the actual mechanics have changed, like mechanics
Sure,
that you actually need to know to like play. And
sure.
granted, it's not like the games are fully unplayable from one generation to another, but like if they did go, hey, look, here's Gen 1 games, but like there's more than one special stat, there's a physical special
Yeah,
split.
that'll like just gonna be honest. The people who want to just play red and blue want to
Just want to
play
play red and
red
blue.
and
They
blue.
don't care about anything. I
Like
agree. Like,
so, like if they
yeah.
happened to if they like did that, but they updated it, it's like people are gonna flip out.
Make it optional. Make it optional.
Yeah.
You have it's almost like when what is it? Dragon nah fuck. The game where you fuck. Elusive Age, Echoes of an Elusive Age. What is that?
Dragon Quest 11
Dragon
as
Quest. I want to say Dragon Warrior because that I think it's technically what it's
Mhm.
called somewhere. It doesn't matter.
Dragon
Well,
Quest
they have
11S
like
Echoes of
they,
an Elusive
they have the
Age
two
Definitive
versions.
Edition.
They have the two versions of that game when it
Oh,
launches. They
okay.
have like the OG look like
But
back
that's
in the
just
day,
graphical
and
style.
then
That
they
has
have
nothing to do
this.
with mechanics.
But I'm saying what you could literally just do it where like that you have two versions that you can kind of like
Boot
switch
up, yeah.
between two and boot up. Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, even then, if they just put the raw ROMs on NS
'Cause
Online, like that would be
right.
raw.
Because I mean,
raw.
that's part of the fun of those is like, Generation 1, like that's part of like for people that don't know, in Generation 1, there was no physical special split. Um, you're just had a special stat, and then crits were determined based off of your speed.
Yeah, which is
So
why
I
like one of the
actually
best
didn't know that.
yeah,
I
why like
didn't
one
know
of
that
the
at all.
best Pokemon and like Gen 1 like competitive is Persian because his speed stat is insane, and he can learn Slash, which has a higher chance of critting.
and
And so
stab.
I think
That makes a
it's
lot of sense.
like I think
Son of a
somebody
bitch.
I think with one of the other like gym leader Pokemon, there's like a 97% chance of them critting every time they hit you.
And then there's Alakazam and Gengar are also OP because it's because again, they just have their special stats. That's also their special defense.
Well, Alakazam was
Mm.
also OP in Gen 1 because the Psychic type was fucking broken.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. He was
Yeah.
also had a crazy high special stat, crazy high speed stat.
Unless you
So
have Hypno, who fucking sucks for whatever reason, but that's just my experience.
yeah. So
That's what you
it's
get for
useless.
using
part of
fucking
the
Hypno.
I'll put him to sleep. That's my use with this motherfucker. Yeah.
that's part of the charm of those older games, in my opinion, is getting to go
Yeah.
back
Totally
and replay those games as they were.
Randomly
agree.
missing once every 256 times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fun.
And then the
Yeah,
other thing with
today, sorry, slightly unrelated, but today I was playing Violet because I'm playing through the main game again to try to get to the DLC and not be fucking destroyed. I in the distance saw a yellow truck, right? And
Oh,
I'm like, fuck is that? Well, why? This truck could be any fucking color, all right? And they had to make it a yellow truck, and I'm like, you know what? I have to go investigate it now. There's probably 99% sure there's nothing fucking here. There was
Why
a
is
gimme
it
gold
yellow
coin on top of
relevant?
it, but that's it. But like, I was like, God damn it! So I went all the way out of the way, all the way through these like caverns and shit. And I was like,
mhm.
Why is the fact that
but I
it's
saw it.
yellow like important?
Wasn't it in Pokemon Yellow? Am I wrong?
I
Or
thought
the
the truck
Mew,
was just in all the Gen 1 games.
Yeah.
but the Mew glitch wasn't that just yellow? Where
I thought that
you
was
do
just
the
a
truck,
playground
you
rumor.
do the truck
Where you,
thing.
yeah, where you strength on the truck. I thought that was just like a
I
playground
thought
rumor.
I thought you could only do strength on the truck in Pokemon Yellow.
Good. I don't know.
Ah.
Yeah.
But in my brain, that's canon. So in my brain, I was like, "You
Right.
motherfuckers."
Yeah.
But
So anyway, sorry, I
going
didn't
back,
mean to.
I was just gonna say with another thing with Generation One games, just talking about like the kind of like the uniqueness of it is that I believe in that game, I think they changed it for Generation Two, but in Generation One, when you were asleep and you woke up, that was your turn. You couldn't like wake up and attack at the same turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yep.
a bunch of fucking crazy
Certain
choices.
things to make it more
But I want
difficult.
all that jank.
Which nowadays I want.
I want all that
Oh yeah.
1996 jank on NSO Online for the low
Hmm.
price of $50 a year.
I can just imagine me booting it up and it just doesn't fucking work, and I'm like, I love it.
I would purposely
Well,
play it, bro. I would purposely play it under my covers. You know,
turn the switch dimness all the way down and have to
brightness
like
super
use the
low.
light.
Yeah. Even though I'm like a grown ass man, anytime somebody walks past my room, I quickly hide it under my pillow so they don't
Yep.
know I'm awake.
Yeah, yeah. I had the like atomic purple. Is that what it's called? Where you
Oh
can like
yeah.
Hell
see
yeah,
through
you
it and all
did.
that. I had the atomic purple one, and like I'm pretty sure it was the Game Boy Color, and I'm pretty sure my color just stopped fucking working after so long. Like it was just like it's there, but it's faded
Like they
as
went back to
fuck.
black and white.
Pretty much. So like it didn't technically. Like, there was like little spritz of color in there, but
Mhm.
like I used it. Like again, I've told the story. 8 years in a row, I played Pokemon Gold like the entire fucking summer. So like I fucking miles on this fucking Game Boy. Okay, like
Yep.
this thing was trucking and doing its best, but it was
Trucking.
definitely getting old. But yeah.
Nice. All right. Any final big wants from the Pokemon Company in 2024?
More time.
Take a
Like just
break. Yeah.
give your company more time. That was the biggest takeaway that you brought up. I would love that. And if small things like the spin-off thing or bringing the games to NSO gives them more time, do those things.
Yeah.
People would love it. They eat it up.
Do you know how many playthroughs of other Pokemon games I want to do before jumping into the new gens? I've been wanting to do another playthrough of the Ultra games. I still need to play through Black 2 now that I finally played through Black 1. I want to play Renegade Platinum at some point. Now, granted, it's not an official game, but you know what I mean? Is like,
Sure.
Oh
and
yeah.
I find
There's
it
so many.
sometimes hard to go like the second I beat Pokemon Black, I didn't just start up a save copy of Black 2 because it just felt like I'd be taking 10 steps backwards. So I needed kind of like a week of like nothing in between.
Sure.
Right.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
then it also just with all the whole I guess controversy with Scarlet and Violet, like it's like everybody loved the game, but it's like everybody hated all the technical issues. So it's
I
like
didn't
everybody
love the game.
wants you guys to slow down. Everybody wants you guys to slow down and to do better, both
yeah,
graphically, both performance wise, like these crazy bugs. Like literally, you have so, and I think that's the other thing that I feel like what I would love to come out of these Johto and Unova remakes is just like, or I guess like alongside them kind of thing. Is like I don't even need if I need a new Pokemon game, I don't need it to be a new generation. Like you guys have 1,000 Pokemon, over a
yeah,
1,000 Pokemon, 9 generations. And I was like, yeah, give us a Gold and Silver game that takes place tangentially with Red and Blue rather than 3 years later, or
Sure.
give us just a game that takes place in a, let's say, like a
If you
man-made region or an area where it's like it is a new region, but there is no new Pokemon there.
heck,
if you
you
just
have
play with the
yeah.
lore, like we're gonna eat it
Oh
up.
yeah. Well, like look at our 4 Dream games. None of us created a new region. None of us created a new Pokemon.
Yeah,
I
like
guess so.
literally.
I guess that's true.
You know
I
what I
don't even
mean?
remember
Like
what region I chose. I think I said Johto because it's my favorite.
Basically, that's what like is like. There's so much that they could play with. Like, give me a made up place like that's like, oh, hey, we're like, or like basically like a kind of a Lola thing where it's like we do things a little bit differently here, and like maybe
Right.
there's more challenges
Yeah.
than just gym battles. And like again, you're making a regional dex out of already existing dexes that are you're
Yep.
just kind of taken from everything. It's like there's so much that they could do that I don't need them to jump headfirst into new game constantly.
Sure.
Um, I guess just I do want to go back to like the Johto and Unova games because like for Johto we're like we do want Legends, we do want to Let's Go. Unova, do we think it's gonna be just a Game Freak, Pokemon Dark Black and Bright White, or do you think that they find a way to do the sequels as
Brightness all the
well?
way up white and brightness all the way down black.
Yeah, contrast and brightness white, contrast black and brightness white. But
What
like
was the question?
I would get like for the Gen 5 remakes, I guess, because like Johto Let's Go game or Johto Legends game, I guess we kind of understand what those would look like. But do we think that Gen 5 Remake 1, how do you think they handle the fact that those games had sequels rather than a third version? And two,
Mm.
like, what do you think they do, I guess, art direction wise? Because from my understanding, it doesn't sound like we're going back to Ilka remakes. It sounds like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl was it left a bad enough taste in the Pokemon company's mouth that like
That's a
Ilka
good
will not be doing those remakes like
that's a
that
good
anymore.
question. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Like
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't even know if like maybe that sour taste made them work on it more on hands with them like themselves. You know what I mean? Like I just I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I
And Ilka
maybe they go
has
to
the
a completely different
ability.
team. It's just I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't have the answer.
Ilka
Something I oh god.
I was just gonna say, like, Ilka did the Dragon Quest game that Austin was talking about. So, like, I feel like if anybody's
Sure.
gonna do like two different types of styles in one Pokemon game, it could be them. But I would also be so upset if, like, now, oh wow, all these remakes are graphical improvements from the originals, except for the fourth generation, which just looks like
Yeah.
we went AI make
But
this
that's just you.
3D.
That's just you though.
That's just
But
No one else.
I think Gen 5 you're gonna have with the Gen 5 remakes, you're gonna have to find somebody that does have that good art style because there were kind of animated cutscenes in Gen 5. Like they're
yeah.
gonna need to have like those kind of set pieces be in the game because Gen 5 is such a story driven game.
Yep. Yep.
So
Mhm.
it is gonna have to be a kind of a I won't say a unique art style, but like something that can kind of have that like it almost has to be that like kind of like you were saying that Sea of Stars kind of pixelated look because
Oh, dude.
it's
Sometimes I forget Sea of Stars has those moments where it just goes full on anime. Do you know what I'm
right
talking about, Alec? And I'm like, oh man, this looks fucking incredible. Holy shit. Yeah.
now that's all I
Yeah.
want now is Gen 5 in that. Oh my gosh.
Gen 5 Sea of Stars. Well, I guess we'll find out what 2024 has in store for us when we get there. I'm sure that we will all be reacting to Pokemon Days, Pokemon Presents, as we usually do anyway, before we even had this show. And so we'll find out
Indeed.
how much we were right, how much we were wrong, and I hope that these
Oh,
Game Freak devs
so wrong.
get to fucking rest for once in their life. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah.
I
All
do.
right.
Oh yeah.
But until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.